Hi, I'm Lisa Unger, and welcome to Tiki Talk. Today, I'm hanging out in my Tiki hut with Sara Blaedel, the Danish queen of crime fiction. Hi, Sara.
Hi, Lisa.
Thanks for coming to my Tiki hut.
Thank you for inviting me.
We're so thrilled to have you here. I'm so thrilled to have you here to talk about Only One Life, your book that's coming out in August. It's actually the second in the series, absolutely stellar, terrific series, featuring Detective Louise. And the first book that came out, when did it come out? Was it last summer? August last year. Call Me Princess, another stellar book. And we're so happy to have you here to talk about it.
Thank you.
Let's go back a little bit and talk about your childhood. I know that you had some pretty major parents, a journalist and an actress, and that your life with them was very populated by visitors and lots of exciting things. And how does that type of childhood inform your adulthood as a writer?
But I don't know if it did, because when I was a child I was extremely shy, and I have my best moments when I was just in my room reading a book, actually a crime fiction novel. But that was because I felt much more at home when other people were reacting, and I just could stand a little bit behind and reading and have all the stories and the people and everything told, so I could kind of escape into that. Exactly.
Fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was what I did.
And so when do you feel like that shift took place for you from being a reader to being a writer? When did you have that moment, and what were your unique challenges on that path?
I wasn't. I don't think I know the moment, because I didn't decide to go into being a writer. I was totally comfortable being a reader, but the thing happened was that I got an idea. A story started up in my head, makes me so curious, so I had to find out what is it all about. And then I, from very early beginning, saw Louise very, very clearly. So she influenced my life in a way, and took over. Not took over, so I have to write to begin with, but took over in my imagination of what if a Danish reporter or whatever could be. A story starts, and then I just have to follow up. But I didn't start writing it to begin with. I think I have it in my head for half a year, and at the end it was like popping popcorn in the kitchen. You know, there is a time where you don't lift, because then you have popcorn all over, and that was the same in my head. Don't lift, write, concentrate, tell a story.
Well, yeah, you have to have a little bit of that, right? A little bit of what my friend Greg Hurwitz calls butt and seat time, where you have to stay there and see what happens. You can't just keep getting up and walking away. And I know it's a little crude, but you know, that's Greg for you.
But it works.
It does. So you said that you saw Louise very clearly, but you know, always in fiction, or at least my experience is that, you know, these characters, they come to us, you know, they're sort of like more like people that we meet.
Exactly. Right,
than people that we create. And so very often there are all kinds of surprises that take place in the writing of a novel. So when were you first surprised by Louise?
I think it's because I didn't have read any fiction before, but I have been working as a journalist for many years. So I'm very used to stuck to facts. So I do a lot of research, and I set my scene very clearly for myself. Not everything ends up in the book, but for myself. And I have really prepared that story very, very into details. But when I start writing it, then actually she got a flashback to a very early case in her career as a policewoman, where she had to tell a young woman that her boyfriend was attacked on the street and dead. And all the feelings, all the sorrow from that young woman goes into Louise, and she had a breakdown. And I didn't plan that, because I have been so focused on building her up like a kind of a hero. She was strong and professional, cool, whatever. And I was maybe 10 or 15 pages into the book when she collapsed. And I said, whoa, that is really a bad start.
Right.
I'm just creating a protagonist and she doesn't work.
Right.
So I could have deleted everything and start up over again. But I didn't, because that's a part of her.
Right.
And we have been working with that part of her in several books, and we still do, but she is much better now.
That's good. That's good. And I think that actually is one of the things that I like about her, is that, you know, she's not sort of a two-dimensional, you know, superwoman type character, that she's a real person, you know, with real feelings. And I think that as readers, you know, we really want that from our characters. We want, you know, we can't relate to the superwoman, not really.
No, because I can't relate.
Right. I mean, we're all sort of, you know, no matter how, you know, put together and, you know, in control we may seem, I think most of us are sort of wrestling with our own personal demons, whatever those demons happen to be. And so it's refreshing and comforting to, you know, to see that too in our fictional characters. So I think that's one of the things that I like about Louise the most. Another thing about Only One Life that really intrigued me was the concept of the honor killing, which I was a little bit familiar with, but I'm wondering if maybe you can talk a little bit about what is an honor killing and how you were inspired to write about it in this book.
There is, we have had several honor killings in Denmark, and an honor killing is if a family, in these cases it has been a Muslim family, if they feel that a young woman have made something that they think is terrible. Maybe if she refused to marry the man they want her to marry.
Right.
If she dresses in a wrong way, if she don't behave the way they want her to do, then they can end up killing her. And it's a very, very cruel way the girl have been killed, and the whole cases has turned out in Denmark. So to begin with, it wasn't an idea about writing about honor killing, but there is something about it making me so curious, because it's not just, oh, every Muslim is killing their own daughters.
Sure.
It's not that way. Of course it isn't. But there is a part of a culture that still works that way, that if you don't behave in a right manner, then you have to be eliminated. And it isn't the closest family who decided, and that is the very, very scaring part. It can be the family back home in the home country who said, oh, we have a lot of trouble up with the family in Denmark, you have to solve it, you have to do something, and that can execute, and that can start
lead to an execution.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and so that brings up an interesting topic for me, and something that I've asked other crime fiction authors. Do you feel, in some sense, as a crime fiction writer, that it's your responsibility to sort of address ideas of real violence in society? I mean, there are plenty of people who feel that, you know, crime fiction in some ways glorifies violence, and I disagree with that. I think that, you know, people write about crime fiction or write about crime in fiction because, you know, there are questions that they're exploring or fears that you're metabolizing of your own. And I think most of us who turn to crime fiction have a real curiosity about human nature, and that it's just one place in which we can explore that. But do you feel that way about writing crime fiction, and do you feel that the crime fiction author has a responsibility to sort of look at hard facts about how people treat each other?
I totally agree with you. No, I don't feel any responsibility to write about it. I write about it because I find it interesting. And when I write about honor killing, it's not to say what I mean about it. It's not my side on it. I'm trying just to say these things are going on in Denmark.
Right.
We are trying to avoid it.
Address it.
Yes, but
change
we can't change it. We're working on it, but the fact is, it is going on.
Right.
And as a crime fiction writer, then I think it's interesting to show what is it that we have going on.
Right.
What is it that can start an honor killing? What is all the things? But most of all, it's about culture meeting another culture.
Right.
Bringing a culture to another culture.
Right.
And try to have these two cultures stick together. I think that is the important and interesting things about writing.
Right. Yeah, excellent. Well, you did an amazing job, addressing it and exploring it in this book, Only One Life. And it's a pleasure to have you here, Sara, in Florida, in the Tiki Hut, to talk about your wonderful books.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening.